welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And today, happy Monday, I wanted to talk about several things that kind of occurred to me over the weekend and see how they might weave together here for me. So I got to go to church yesterday for the first time in a really long time, and the first time by myself in even longer. And so I wanted to share about what that experience was like, just to say it out loud, really. And some of the stuff that I heard that really resonated with me and was parallel with my recovery program. So one of the things that I heard in church was, what do I say when somebody asks me who am who are you? Or, how would I respond? What would be the first thing that I would say when somebody asks me who to describe myself? And what I realized quickly was that I really define myself, like my identity. I'm an alcoholic, I'm disabled, and probably the next thing is could change depending on the day. I may say, oh, well, I'm a podcaster, or I'd say, oh, I have a couple dogs, or I love to fill in the blank, and start talking about my crafts or something like that. Like, how do I define myself seems to be defined by, first and foremost, my limitations. And I don't want that to be the case. I would like my identity to be defined as, like, what is my purpose here? And some way to communicate my perseverance and emphasize that part of my story. Emphasize the fact that I know that I'm not alone, whether that be because I have found this higher power, my concept of God, and I've found these fellowships in sobriety and stroke recovery and vestibular recovery. So the answer I don't have today, but when I think about it, I think I am a woman in recovery who keeps showing up even when it's hard. Um, and even that is like insinuating my life is hard. And really, I want it to convey that my life is so much easier the way that I live it now than it was years ago. 10 years ago, I've been sober for 9 years. So I think about recovery, sobriety, early stroke recovery, and I think about because of my meeting this morning, the paralyzing self-pity that I used to just be like a deer in the headlights. I didn't know how to handle anything. I didn't even know how to get up in the morning sometimes. I mean, I remember laying there and just pulling the blanket over my head and being like, why can't I just make it all go away? Still be here. I wasn't suicidal, but make it all go away, all the pain go away. And that was after my stroke too. And sometimes getting up when I felt that way was like pulling out of tailspin, like an airplane tailspin. What I see in the movies where they're like, I can't bring it up, I can't bring it up. That's what it feels like, or stopping a moving train. It's like fighting gravity just to get up, just to sit up in bed. Um, and I can connect that to irrational thinking, which my alcohol swelled in me, and became unbearable. But even after I quit drinking, that irrational thinking still lives there. And sometimes I I can lay in bed and think the same thing, like my problems are so big, how can I make them go away? And the answer is to do something about it. And that's what I heard this morning. Even the smallest action, like sitting up in bed, the next right thing, sitting up in bed, picking up the phone, going to a meeting, or even just praying, or closing my eyes and taking a deep breath, or um, just looking up, and thinking of something to be grateful for and saying thank you. I was reminded this morning, somebody said, nothing changes if nothing changes. So I'm the only one who can make that pain go away by doing something about it. And it's hard. Again, it's like fighting gravity. Um, how do I define myself? Today I define myself as somebody who takes action even when I don't feel like it. Um, I'm the one who sits up in bed when gravity is pushing me down, you know. Um, this morning's reading was really powerful in how it was talking about, or what I heard was, stop just thinking about it. Stop just thinking about what needs to be done and do something. Do something about it. That daily inventory, when I sit and I was doing my nails this morning, and when I'm sitting in silence, I have so much that passes through my mind that I think I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to, and then as the list grows, I become overwhelmed. And in my stroke recovery version of me, I don't remember the beginning of the list of what I need to do when I get to the middle of the list. So the way that I break that thinking and turn it into action is to write it down. I have this remarkable tablet that I've been using ever since Christmas, the first Christmas after I had my stroke. My husband gave it to me, and it's become just like my favorite tool, because I use it in my AA meetings. I use it when I talk to my psychiatrist. I use it for everything. I mean, I have so much in here. I brought it to church for my first church service yesterday, and I wrote down lots of notes from what I was hearing, not what he was saying, but what I was hearing. And it was stressing even more to me that even the littlest things, me being there at that church service, was doing something about it. We moved to this new neighborhood where that alone was doing something about it. I had been feeling very trapped in our old neighborhood because I couldn't get to anything, because I can't drive, and there just wasn't, things weren't accessible to me. So we moved here to this new neighborhood so that so that we would both have more access to enjoyable things, stuff that we want to do. And one of those things that I wanted to do was go to church because I want to continue to strengthen my relationship with my concept of God, my higher power. So just saying on Saturday evening, I want to go to church. That's all it took. All it took was for me to say it out loud. And my husband, of course, was more than happy to bring me. He's like, whatever it takes. And that's how he's been for all of these things. Um, what it takes is for me to put my recovery first. And then and I heard this morning, if I put my recovery first, all the other things that are important to me will follow. I don't lose the things that I love as long as the first thing on my list is recovery. And then it keeps my relationship with my family in balance, my friends, my health, my serenity, my mental state. Um, it's all about voicing what's going on between my ears throughout my recovery. Um, what One of the topics that was talked about in church yesterday was God's timing and practicing patience. And I was thinking, this is one of the things that I was thinking was so aligned with what I learned in my program. Um, I was reflecting on the past couple years waiting to get this house and how impatient I felt. And I mean, we had a contract on a house in this neighborhood a few years ago, and things didn't work out. And just a month or two later, my condition got much worse. And what was really surprising for me, unexpected, was that when it fell through and we didn't get the house, I mean, we chose to back out. I went to bed that night and I did my normal get on my knees and say my prayers. And when I said thy will be done, not mine, I knew there was a reason why we weren't going to get to move. I knew there was a reason why it didn't work out. And, and I 100% trusted in that feeling. And that's odd for me. I don't usually I don't usually think that way. I'm one of those people who I can't when I know that something's coming up, I'm like, I hate even waiting to go to something. If I have a doctor's appointment, I can't stand sitting there waiting for it to be time to leave. Like, I would rather get in the car and go and wait at the doctor's office than to sit in my house and wait. I hate waiting for everything. So during this whole process, when I wasn't even able to come look at the house because I couldn't tolerate the drive because of my head, I was waiting and having to like surface some enormous amount of patience that I didn't even know I had. But I just kept praying about it. I kept saying, thy will be done, not mine. And what I heard in the church service yesterday was about how, like, when things don't happen in my time, it's not because, like, my prayers aren't being answered, or I think what he said was, if God seems silent, that doesn't mean that he's absent. It means that he's preparing, that waiting isn't inefficiency. It's it's it sometimes seems so slow, but he's never late. Like he's always on time. And sometimes there is a lesson and strength that can be built during that stillness of waiting. And I definitely feel like over the past couple years that I have been waiting for this new phase of my life where we get to be in this neighborhood and I get to be more engaged with people. I definitely learned a lot during that time. I feel like I learned a lot about myself. Um, I learned that time is not an enemy. You know, time is just that. I feel so often like if something's not happening right now, then it's probably not going to happen. Um, I feel like if I don't, if I have a conflict with somebody and they make me angry, I would feel like if I don't respond to them right now, the opportunity is gone. And it's actually the opposite. If I don't respond to them now, I am opening up an opportunity to respond better, to bring in a thoughtful response. And what I have found in this process of buying this house was the longer I waited, the longer I had to be patient, the more opportunities my brain had to shift priorities. Like, what was I looking for in a house? That shifted over the 2 years. Um, what do I want to do when I get there? That shifted. um, when we first had a contract on another house, it was not a priority for me, was not to go to church. And now it is. And that doesn't mean that if we would have moved the first time that I wouldn't have still developed this desire to go to church, but things happen this way and it's been pleasant. It's been a pleasant move. Everything has been not rushed. And for me, the lesson is also that for my disorder that I have to try to train myself to stay calm. My mom and my sister are coming on Wednesday, and I tend to get really excitable when I have visitors and just on a daily basis. Whatever's going on, I get very excited about it. And this patience and waiting and stillness and quiet and pause is really helping me to slow down. I bet if I were to go back and listen to some of the first couple months of this podcast, that I was even talking faster. And I do tend to, or I did before my stroke, um, talk really fast. It's like I wanted to be heard. I wanted what I had to say to get out there into the universe as fast as possible. And I feel like taking time and putting more thought into it gives my voice a lot more strength. Um, and it is not just my voice, but my voice is being followed up with action. Um, it's really taking what I'm thinking into action, into what I'm doing. Like it's connecting it because I'm taking the time to think through it and how am I actually going to do something about it, like I was saying earlier. Um, so I really resonated with what the pastor was talking about yesterday with the waiting stuff. Um, I still focus very much every day on doing the next right thing. Even when I was just eating my breakfast and I was listening to the news and I thought, okay, well, today I have my sorority, my alumni sorority book club at 5. And then I'm going to go to another in-person AA meeting at 7, my second one in years. And I thought, well, I really need to record my podcast so that I have time to post it online and all of that stuff. And my reaction, no offense, but my reaction lately has been like, I don't feel like it. It's simply because I'm tired. Because it does take a lot of energy for me to get a comprehensive thought and message through. But it's the next right thing, you know. So I still do it in every way. When my dog gives me that look, it's like the next right thing is for me to take her for a walk, not to just let her outside so she can quickly do her business, but to go for a walk. So I think I would like to continue to think about that question of who am I? Because I think that who I am has a lot more to do with that desire to always do the next right thing, that desire to, despite fear, do it anyway, you know, the courage and yeah, and now my mind is blank. And here we are at the end of an episode where I don't have anything to say. I hate when that happens. But anyway, I'm super grateful to be sober today. And I'm super grateful that I have been taking the action to do things now that I'm in this new neighborhood. It's only been like 2 weeks, I think, but I've gone to an AA meeting, I've gone to church, and so tonight is the rowdy group is what they told me, the rowdy group. So I'm looking forward to going and meeting more people there. But I'm really grateful that I have the willingness to do that even when I'm tired. And I know that things will get better as I continue to focus on resting, focus on, again, putting my recovery first. It has to come first for me to function in this world. I have to put my recovery first. And in turn, I am able to be available for my dogs, my family, you know, my fellowship. So thank you so much for listening today, and I will talk to you tomorrow.